in those gaps and help protect you from rising healthcare costs. At only $99 per month up to age 75, you get peace of mind at a price you can afford. And MediShare is trusted, too. It's been around 30 years. It's not some big impersonal thing. It's a community of people helping each other, business owners, pastors, retirees. People love it. MediShare 65 Plus just makes sense. To learn more, give them a call. They're great to talk to. They'll offer to pray with you each time you call, too. Call now. 833-SHARE-55. That's 833-SHARE-55. 833-SHARE-55.
Your home for Goodland High School athletics, the Denver Broncos, Tech Tiger basketball, and the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer and Connor Schuh. This is Goodland's Rocket 102.5, KKCI-FM, Goodland, an NWKS radio station.
Looking for insurance that actually puts you first? At the insurance agency in downtown Goodland, we're independent, which means we work for you. Whether it's auto, home, crop, or business, we shop top carriers to get you the best coverage at the best price. No pushy sales, just honest advice from people who live right here in your community. Give us a call today at 785-899-5011 or stop by 1020 Main in Goodland and let's get you covered. The Insurance Agency. Insurance the way it should be.
Convenience just got an upgrade. Farmers State Bank of Oakley is excited to announce the opening of our brand new ATM along Highway 40, right next to Sonic Drive-In. Whether you're grabbing a snack or on the go, you can quickly access your cash without the detour. It's banking made easy, right where you need it. Farmers State Bank of Oakley, member FDIC.
With NWKS Radio, I'm Connor Schuh. Goodland High School is presenting Disney's Frozen this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The Goodland High School Music Department presentation will be presented at 7 p.m. on Friday the 14th and on Saturday at 7 as well, and then at 2 o'clock on Sunday the 16th. Randy Burles will be directing the play that includes more than 50 students in the onstage cast, including Hope Bierman playing Anna, Caitlin Hill playing Elsa, Trent Sheldon playing Kristoff, Jackson Emig playing Hans, and Isaiah Douglas playing Olaf. In other news, Goodland PD released a statement saying on November 3rd, a missing 76-year-old female was reported found in Goodland at 4:48 p.m., the same day she was reported missing earlier that morning. Plenty of folks in town assisted in the search for her, and she was found safely north of town. For these and other stories, go to nwksradio.net.
Tonight, skies will be partly cloudy. Winds will lighten, turn into the southwest at 5 to 15 miles per hour, and lows will drop to around 35. Tomorrow will be a bit cooler, high around 70. South winds 10 to 20 miles per hour. Sunny skies and lows in the upper 30s. Thursday and Friday will be continued warm and dry under an upper level ridge and high pressure. Near record highs of 75 to 80 degrees and lows in the upper 30s and low 40s. Friday will be a gustier, windier day ahead of an approaching trough that may result in red flag warning criteria, so avoid outdoor burning. On Saturday, expect increase in cloud cover, elevated winds with highs in the 60s. A trough moving in on Sunday and Monday will bring cooler conditions, highs in the upper 40s and 50s, lows falling below freezing, and there is the possibility of some showers and storm activity, along with some chances of snow to the west in Colorado and in higher elevations. This is meteorologist Chris Schromick in the NWKS Radio Weather Center.
If you're shopping for a banking institution, visit with Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, and Quinter, Kansas. The Equity Bank is heavily invested in local business and activities contributing in many ways back to their community. Their employees are involved with many organizations and area events. Plus, a lot of experience comes with that staff. You'll find valuable local assistance when you bank at the Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, Quinter, and other locations in Western Kansas. The Equity Bank, member FDIC.
Are pests making your home or business uncomfortable? Call Pest Away in Goodland, Kansas, serving all of Northwest Kansas. They provide top-notch pest control services to keep your space safe and pest-free. From ants to rodents, termites to spiders, our expert team is here to help with effective, safe, and affordable pest control solutions. Don't wait. Call Pest Away today at 785-728-7166 for fast, reliable service. Your home or business deserves the best protection.
When you gotta go, but there's nowhere to go, who you gonna call? Topside Portables and Pumping, that's who.
Weddings, job sites, farm parties, they've got clean, reliable porta potties that don't stink, literally. And if your septic tank smells worse than last year's chili cook-off, they'll pump it out fast. No mess, no fuss. Family owned, Heartland values, always ready. Call 785-728-8089. That's 728-8089. Topside portables and pumping. When duty calls, they answer.
Fall is here, and so are big savings at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Get a 2026 GMC Sierra 1500 Elevation up to $7,000 off with eligible GMC loyalty. Check out the 26 GMC Arcadia 1.9% APR for well-qualified buyers. On the Chevy side, the 2026 Equinox is 0% APR, and the 26 Colorado Trail Boss gets $500 customer cash or 3.9% APR for well-qualified buyers. Harvest the savings this fall at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Online at hurlchev.com.
This fall, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware has everything you could need. Keep your lawn strong with Ultimate Winterizer, the best defense before the frost. Warm up your evenings and create memories with a new fire pit. Or bring home the flavor with a great selection of grills and smokers from brands like Traeger, Blackstone, Green Egg, and more. And right now, the lumber prices are low, and so are the temperatures, making it the best season to tackle those outdoor projects. It's Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware with locations in Goodland and Colby. Open every day but Sunday.
Looking for insurance that actually puts you first? At the insurance agency in downtown Goodland, we're independent, which means we work for you. Whether it's auto, home, crop, or business, we shop top carriers to get you the best coverage at the best price. No pushy sales, just honest advice from people who live right here in your community. Give us a call today at 785-899-5011 or stop by 1020 Main in Goodland and let's get you covered. The Insurance Agency. Insurance the way it should be.
You ready? Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4! It's time for the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
If you want to win in football, it all starts up front. Mass kicks ass.
And Connor Schuh.
He's the new guy.
The High Plains only local sports talk show. Broadcasting live on Goodland's Rocket 102.5 and video streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
They're basically idiots.
Covering it all from the preps.
Up ahead to Blair Lennon. Lennon, the crossover back to Cure. Hello, boom! A two-handed tomahawk flush.
To the pros.
Shotgun snap to Nix. Protection is good. Bold loads it up. He's got it. A receiver there. Franklin makes the catch in the end zone. Touchdown, Denver.
The Blitz is presented by Hurl Chevrolet GMC, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware, and F&B Bank, along with
Equity Bank of Hoxie, Quinter, and Grinnell, the Insurance Agency, Pestaway LLC, Topside Portables and Pupping, and the Farmer State Bank in Oakley.
Let's go to work.
Largest lead for the Huskers has been 10. Here's Sanford, shoots the three. Got it! Bang! A ring! There you go. Bryce Sanford with his second three of the night, 8 on the year, and the Huskers open up a 12-point lead.
Shot attempt misses wildly. Rebound Tiller up the floor, lob to Cole. Another rim rocket slam. Toss it on the feed. Rosario on that flush.
And here's an intercepted pass. They try to hit Toppin with a cut to the basket. Stojakovic steals it, drives in, hits a layup, counted and one.
1st and 10 at the 11-yard line. DeShields, clean pocket, deep man, open, here it is, down the sideline, DeRelist Clark is gone.
Did you happen to hear the name on that call there, Connor? You happen to hear the name of the guy who had the touchdown in that in some action last night?
I've been following Kent State football. I know about DeRelist Clark.
DeRelist Clark. Oh, my gosh. I just could not believe the name when I heard that last night. DeRelist.
That's college football.
I mean, there was a guy who played for Nebraska who transferred, I think, to Louisiana Tech. I think is where his name was DeColdest Crawford, which his NIL deal featured, a heating and cooling, place, which was pretty cool, which makes sense. If your AC's broke, call DeColdest. People in the, it was very well done. But DeRelist Crawford makes me laugh because that is, I wonder if they're actually related. I actually probably think they are.
Oh, it's DeRelist Clark.
Clark. Okay, never mind. Okay. Nope, so not related. Still, though, what a name. DeRelist.
It's great.
DeRelist Schuh.
I'm naming my kid that.
There you go. I don't think Sandy be very proud.
Who knows?
I mean, she'd be proud that you're having a kid, I'm sure, but at the same time, The realist? Where did this come from?
That means he or she is destined for success.
I get you. You'd hope so. I mean, you would hope that is the case. But anyway, good Wednesday morning, everybody. November the 12th is here. Mostly sunny and 35 currently, a high of 67 on this Wednesday. Boy, what a beautiful week of weather we have had. I tell you, you really can't complain for it being early to mid-November. The weather has been absolutely fantastic with the sun and the temperatures being pretty darn warm. Been a beautiful, beautiful week of weather. And, I think for the most part, it's going to continue that way. I don't think it's going to, I think it might get a little bit cooler this weekend, but not by a whole lot. Temperature's actually going to reach 75 by Friday. 75! Sunny and 75 in November.
Let's get the seasons going. I'm ready for the cold.
I think next week you're going to get your prayers answered there. Looks like starting Monday, temperatures back to the low 60s. And by late next week, now once again, that's over a week away, looking like temperatures going to be highs in the mid 40s. So that's more like November weather, a little bit more like that. So, but I'm telling you, if you enjoyed the late summer push, this has been it here in November. But today's program, we're going to visit with James Wessling of ESPN and Big 12 Today, talk to him about Big 12 and Big 12 football and basketball. Of course, he talks about every day on TuneIn Radio, talking about the Big 12 Conference. We will also get to some college basketball recaps. Did you get enough college basketball or basketball fix last night? What were your games of choice?
I did. Of course, at first I tuned into Ohio State, App State. It's my team. I got to see it. That was a little dicey at first, but Louisville, Kentucky, and Illinois, Texas Tech were the big ones for me last night.
Yeah, those were some good games for sure. I was going to ask, did you go to Colby Community College basketball last night? You said you might, but you didn't know for sure.
I was wrapped up in that Kentucky Louisville game at the time, or else I would have.
I was disappointed Mark Pope was on the sidelines because I heard a rumor that he had jury duty.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, but
apparently he had an excuse or got excused to go coach basketball.
I guess it's his job.
Could you imagine that? Like, you have like a certain amount of time that's not, you've got 5 months out of the year where you don't have any games you got to be at. Yeah, you need to be recruiting and other things, but you could probably sneak away and let the staff do that stuff.
Yeah.
And now during the busy party of the season, you're like, well, you got jury duty. That's just
note. I got called to jury duty back
in
Ohio for I think next month, but I managed to get out of it.
Really? You got
I
got summoned for jury duty?
Yeah, and I'm like, hey, I just moved away. I kind of can't. Sorry.
I haven't gotten that license fixed yet, so I'm still in for for jury duty.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's really good. I mean, never mind. We're not going to talk about it anymore because bad things happen when you talk about it. So anyway, but that's pretty funny though that you got summoned for jury duty though. So we got all that coming up in today's program. The FB Bank text line is open at 785-899-2222. Jared chiming in with what is this, a name? I think we're talking. He was talking about Derealist Clark. So that's a name for the Key and Peele show.
It is. You've seen that skit.
Yes, I have. Yeah. I have seen it. Well, didn't you see? Yes, I have seen that. That is definitely a name for that. And he goes, pot roast de buckshot, Penn State. Is a name that's a Jared came up. That must be one of the names in it. I have seen the skit. I can't think of. Can you think of any of the names that are in there?
I remember one of them was Dan Smith, BYU.
Of course, the most simplest one, Dan Smith, BYU.
I think they threw in DeBrickashaw Ferguson, even though he's a real guy.
That is DeBrickashaw Ferguson. Yeah, I know. I was trying to think of. I remember that one. I remember the one where he did the teacher. Hey, Ron.
Yeah, that's classic.
And then the one where the touchdown celebrations. And then
pumps.
The pumps, and then you happen to see that he got called to go because the Rico Daldo got flagged, and they had him come through a Zoom and help explain to him how you can't do so many pumps.
He did a no pump celebration the next game. He just stood there with his arms to his sides and just started it and then just didn't do it. It was great.
The no fun league. I'm telling you, let the guys have fun. I'm telling you, let them have some fun, for crying out loud. But anyway, we got lots going on here in today's program. So like I said, if you want to be part of the program, hit us up on the FAP text line, or, chime in through the comments section if you'd like to be part of it. Listen to us through the Hurl Chevrolet GMC video stream. We'll get to you either way. But Let's get our show rolling. We've got our college football Power 5 Week 12 edition. All right, college football Power 5 week number 12. Any overall thoughts on this week of games?
I decided to peek into the mid-major, or the group of 5 world a little more. I wanted to have a little bit of fun, so I excluded a game or two. But
that's all right.
It's late.
It doesn't matter. It's not about what are the top games. It's what games you have your eyes on. That's what stands out to you. So I'll let you go if you have an honorable mention game or something you want to throw out there.
I'll say two, won't go in depth at all. Oklahoma, Alabama. I just figured I had to mention it, but I'm almost SEC'd out. I think I've seen enough SEC football, so I'll exclude the other big SEC game this week. I have the other one in there. And then Boise State, San Diego State's a fun Mountain West matchup, so I threw that in.
Boise State, San Diego State. Yeah, that is an interesting game. San Diego State just got beat by Hawaii this last week, which kind of put a little damper on their playoff hopes.
Quick note, they have, I guess technically they've pitched 3 shutouts this year, and they have the 7th best scoring defense in the nation.
San Diego State does?
Yes.
That's impressive considering their head coach is an offensive guru.
Oh, the 4th best, actually. My apologies.
Oh, wow. Short-handed them.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you pitch shutouts. Numbers just skyrocket up.
Yeah.
That's what happens. I've got actually a couple honorable mention games as well, believe it or not, for some interesting thoughts I saw on this. I have I'm dubbing the odd line game. 19th ranked Virginia, 5.5-point underdogs at 5-4 Duke.
Oh,
a team that is sniffing the college football playoff is an underdog at Duke coming up this weekend. Thought that was an interesting line.
But come on.
Interesting line. I think Virginia might be without their starting quarterback. That might be the reason for that line. But still, odd line game. I'm dubbing that. 5.5-point dogs, 19th ranked Virginia at 5-4 Duke. Okay, my honorable mention game going to the Big 12. Late night kickoff from beautiful, and I do mean beautiful, Provo, Utah, TCU at BYU. The letters game. Another one of these great letters games. TCU, BYU. 2 really interesting quarterbacks. Josh Hoover and what he did. It's amazing after what we saw from TCU against North Carolina and how they just completely just dismantled them, and how really nothing has happened since then for TCU. Nothing super great. They're coming off a loss against Iowa State where they let that one slip through their fingers late. And BYU, of course, is trying to bounce back from just getting absolutely pounded by Texas Tech on the road. So I'm interested to see. I think TCU has the firepower to beat BYU, but BYU is a very tough place to play, particularly on the road late in the year. So honorable mention game, TCU at BYU. All right, so there you go. Our honorable mention in games outside the top 5. Let's get into the top 5.
Number 5.
Let's start in the group of 5. I've got Memphis at East Carolina. This is going to be
the Pirates.
This is going to be a barn burner, high-scoring game. Brennan Lewis and Caton Hauser are 5th and 3rd in American League All-American Conference passing yards this year. Those two love to air it out, so you're going to see a lot of air raid on both sides. And Brennan Lewis, last week, he played hurt, but he went 29 for 34 with 2 touchdowns in that loss to Tulane, but still balled out. And Caton Hauser has been a guy who's kind of flown under the radar for East Carolina. He was at Michigan State for a couple of years, but ever since getting to the Pirates last year, he's started to ball out, and he's been a legitimately good quarterback for them. And they put up points, 34 a game. They don't allow a lot of points, 17 a game. So we'll see if Memphis's offense can kind of breach that. And both of these teams they've kind of fallen out of the playoff conversation, but they're still hanging on by just the slimmest of margins. So I'm sure each team is still really fighting for a win if they can get it here.
Who is East Carolina's quarterback again?
Caton Hauser.
And where was he at previously?
Michigan State.
Oh, okay. You're right. Interesting.
He started a few games there.
He did start a few games there. You're right. All right, interesting. I love the poll. Great. Something different. I love that. I'm not going to be like Connor. I'm going to pick the games that I think are pretty intriguing this weekend, that are going to be games I think most people pick, and that's all right. I'm happy that Connor did it the way he did it. I'm going ACC for my 5th ranked game. Clemson at Louisville. The Cardinals coming off a letdown overtime loss at home against Cal. By the way, shout out to Cal for a huge road win. And shout out to Cal on that football program. You talk about a team that got, I think they actually did a pretty good job at Cal about recruiting kids to their program. The problem is they can't hold on to them. It's almost like a minor league team is Cal, because if they have anybody good, they leave. Think about it. Fernando Mendoza, he's the quarterback at Indiana. He was at Cal last year. And Isaiah Hunter, a pretty good wide receiver at Nebraska. He was at Cal last year. He's no longer there. Jaden Ott, I think, is the other one. Running back was at Oklahoma. Right. He was at Cal last year. It's like a minor league team, Cal is, yet they still find guys to come in. The freshman quarterback, I'm not even going to try and say his name. It's like 3 names long.
Yahweh Sagapolatele.
There you go. That guy, he's been unbelievable, but enough about Cal. Point being, Louisville lost to them. How do they bounce back? They're still a top 20 ranked team against a Clemson team, which once again just feels like a diesel engine that just cannot get going in the cold. They have moments where they run really good and looks great, and they have other moments where they just completely fall flat on their face. Think about it. I mean, Cole Klubnik, that was a guy we were talking about for Heisman, Heisman stuff, and just has been absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing is Cade Klubnik so far this year for the 4-5, mind you, Clemson Tigers. But Clemson, Louisville, my number 5 game in the College Football Power 5. So, yeah, and that's a Friday night game, by the way. Friday night kickoff at 6:30 Central, 5:30 Mountain Time. All right, on number 4.
I have another deep cut. This is Toledo at Miami of Ohio, kicking off tonight. This game is happening tonight, and you're probably not watching much more football on a Wednesday night, so there is no excuse not to tune into this one, I would say. And it's a bit of a grudge match here. Daquan Finn, the quarterback for Miami of Ohio, he was Toledo's quarterback for 4 years.
That's where he wins. Oh, my God.
He transferred away to Baylor, and Tucker Gleason became the starting quarterback at Toledo. Finn didn't work out at Baylor. Now he's at Miami of Ohio, and he's having a nice season. They're playing well. Both these teams are 5-4, fighting for a MAC title bid. I think there's one team above them, if I'm not mistaken. I'm forgetting who at this point, but Tucker Gleason airs it out. He can throw the football, and he's the heir apparent, I guess, to Finn. And now they get to face off for the first time this year in what I would imagine should be a higher scoring, pretty close football game. I'm genuinely fired up for this one as an Ohio guy. 2 Ohio teams. Come on.
How far are those 2 teams from you and where you grew up?
Toledo's an hour west, and then Miami of Ohio is a good, I guess, 3.5 hours south.
Good little trip to Hugoton to get to Miami of Ohio.
Yes, I've been there before. Cool campus.
Well, interesting game. And I did not know the story of Daquan Finn, but that's interesting. There's so many guys that move around the portal each and every year. You forget where they were. But I remember Finn when he was such a star at Toledo. Didn't work out at Baylor, coming back to the MAC where he had success and now leading the Red Hawks of Miami of Ohio. My number 4 game to the SEC, a game that Connor put in his honorable mention team, Alabama hosting Oregon. A top 12 matchup, the Crimson Tide 4, Oklahoma number 11. These 2 teams have been really great. I mean, think about Alabama. Remember when they lost the first game and everyone was like, we should fire their head coach, Kalen DeBoer.
Feels like forever ago.
It has been such a long time ago because he's rattled off 8 straight wins in the daunting SEC. And now they have another tough game, but it's at home. A home against an Oklahoma team that is probably coming off maybe their best win of the season, one of their better wins of the season. A win at Tennessee where nothing went right offensively, but defensively got a touchdown. I don't know. Oklahoma they need to win this game to keep their playoff hopes alive. If they don't, it's probably done for Oklahoma when it comes to the CFP. And Bama, of course, vying for a first-round bye in the college football playoff. We'll see if they can get it done. Great game. Oklahoma, Alabama Crimson Tide from Alabama. That's a 2:30 Central, 1:30 Mountain Time kick on ABC. All right, moving into the top 3.
Number 3.
That's a good one, but you know what I like more than most things in college football? Iowa football. Iowa is playing USC this week, and I think this is almost to me, at least, a more fun version of the matchup last week. Iowa, Oregon. This year, USC's had a a more prolific passing offense than Oregon and Dante Moore. Jaden Mayava has been getting it done for them, and they had a little bit of a scare last week against Northwestern, but they rallied and ended up putting them in the ground late. But Iowa still played an incredible game last week in the rain against Oregon, and their defense is still as good as ever. They probably need a little more out of Mark Gronowski, but that's just kind of how these Iowa teams go. The quarterback play isn't going to be awesome, but they typically have a solid running back, a good O-line, and a good defense, and that good running back is Kamari Moulton. He's having himself a nice little year. 522 yards on 5 yards a carry, and Gronowski's helping him out too. 12 touchdowns on the ground and 340 yards. And again, the big stat for them, they only allow 13.7 points per game, 5th in the nation, and they held Oregon to 18. So who's to say they can't at least hold USC down a little bit? It's going to be close, and it's going to be fun.
Yeah, this game it's in my top 10 too. I'll talk about a little bit more a little bit later on. My number 3 game, I'm going to the Northeast where game day is going to be. The Pitt's Panthers at home against Notre Dame. Does anybody know anything about Pitt? Has anybody followed the Pitt season this year? They've got a young, great quarterback. I can't even know if Heinzel, I think is how you say his last name.
I think so.
Very, very, very talented young man. 12 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. You know, I remember Pitt does things a little differently in their NIL department. You have to earn your money. You come there, you're not going to get paid right away. You get paid after you perform. It's not you get paid and then you perform. They do things differently at Pitt, and I respect it. And you know what? Pat Narduzzi's done a good job at that program. He's been there a long time, and they've been a consistent program in his time being there. I don't know if they can knock off Notre Dame. I highly doubt they can. They're almost a 2-touchdown dog at home, which says something. But interesting game. Interesting game between Pitt and Notre Dame, a top 25 matchup. Notre Dame coming in 9th, Pittsburgh at number 22. Both teams, like Pitt has a chance with a win to put themselves into the college football playoff picture. Notre Dame with a loss puts themselves outside the college football playoff picture. So it's kind of, to an extent, a little bit of a playoff game there from what we used to be the great big ketchup bottle, now Acrisure Stadium. I hate it. I wish it was Heinz Field. I miss it. I miss Heinz Field. But Notre Dame Pitt, my number 3 game this week in the College Football Power 5.
I'll be talking about that one in a little bit after my number 2 game.
All right, let's get to it then. What do you have there at number 2?
I think you can probably imagine what I have here since it's not at number 1, but I just would prefer to watch the Notre Dame Pitt game a little more than this, but this still has a ton of appeal. Number 10, Texas at number 5, Georgia. Arch Manning and Texas have kind of started to figure it out down the stretch, and I think they might be ranked a little high for my taste. I think they have 1 or 2 ranked wins this year. They beat Vandy in a close one, and they beat up on Oklahoma about a month ago from now. But Texas is coming off a bye. They're feeling rejuvenated. They're the number 10 team in the nation, and Arch has definitely played a lot better lately, and I think that's going to make this a much closer game than people would have thought it was maybe 4 games into the season after Texas struggled against teams like UTEP or San Jose State. I mean, they couldn't really get off the ground quickly against those teams, but now they get Georgia, who's passed pretty much every test this season. Gunnar Stockton's looked pretty good, and they've had close games with every good team they've played, so I think this is going to be a close game, and it's going to be a pretty good one. These two teams, of course, trying to vie for, I mean, like Bama, maybe a bye, especially Georgia more than Texas. They're fighting a little bit more of an uphill battle with 2 losses, but if they can dig in with a win over Georgia, it looks more realistic, I think.
Yeah, this game, it's in my top 5 as well. We'll get to it a little bit more in that. My number 2 game, a game you've already mentioned, Iowa at USC. I think this game is also a very intriguing football game. When is the last time BTN Network got a ranked-on-ranked game? That usually doesn't happen. Usually they get stuck with, like, Purdue and, Northwestern. Yeah, or something like that, that's going to be a lopsided game. But instead, if they get a top 25 matchup, once again, I say this every week, but styles make fights. Iowa is a clunking offense, which means we're going to hand the ball off and we'll run it with Mark Gronowski. We're not going to throw it much and play good defense. USC is built opposite. We're not a great defense. We're just going to put up a lot of points. And so I always make this interesting to see which style wins in this fight on Saturday. USC does run the football pretty well with their third-string walk-on running back, King Miller, which has been impressive to watch. Awesome. He's been pretty cool. Maeva's ran the ball and thrown it well. They've got big pieces, but Iowa's defense is so good, and it always is underneath Phil Parker. So I love this matchup between USC and Iowa. It's my number 2 game in the college football Power 5, and what a dandy it should be. All right,
number 1.
Number 1 game. Which you had, which was what again? Notre Dame.
Pitt. Notre Dame and Pitt, and I'll throw in my 2 cents. It's mostly the same stuff that you said. Heintzel's been awesome this year. They benched Eli Holstein, who himself had a pretty good freshman season last year and came in as the guy for Pitt. And then all of a sudden, he didn't quite play up to standard, and then they threw this kid in, and it's like, oh, okay, Pitt's season's done. But now, in Week 12, Pitt is sitting with the 6th most points per game in the nation. They're scoring just under 40. Who would have thought? And granted, they haven't played a ranked team yet. They beat Florida State when they were ranked, but that's like, I mean,
Florida State has the longest losing streak in the ACC. I saw her to hear a ridiculous stat. Over the last 2 seasons, Florida State has 1 ACC win.
Oh.
UConn has 2, and UConn's not in the ACC.
That's incredible. But Pitt, this starts a run of 3 straight ranked games to end their season. And this is really their opportunity to make the playoff. If they can win 2 of 3 of these games, they're probably in. And they're playing with their hair on fire. I think they're going to have a chance to put Notre Dame on upset watch. And I don't want to call it right now, but I'm riding with Pitt.
Really? Wow. I think you're seeing things through some foggy glasses there, my friend, but that's all right. My number 1 game on the last one of the College Show Power 5 game we mentioned, Texas at Georgia. If you look at Texas's last handful of games, they've had 2 overtime victories and a 3-point hold-on win against Vanderbilt. They have squeaked by a lot of teams, and they've done it by kind of, for most of them, at least the last 2, outscoring their opponents. Georgia's not going to allow Texas to have a lot of success offensively. Their defense is elite with Kirby Smart. So I could see Texas getting held to like 2 couple of touchdowns. The question is, can the Texas defense hold down Georgia's offense, which has put up 40 points in 2 of the last 3 games? I don't know. You look at this, Georgia at home, currently 5.5-point favorites, but I'm intrigued. And this is what the SEC wanted when they brought in Texas. They wanted big-time matchups late in the season. They got it. Texas, like I said, in that same boat, kind of in an elimination game. If they lose this, they're kind of out of the playoff looking in. But if they win, they solidify themselves, and they put the Bulldogs on a little bit of a possible watch for the end of the season. So very interesting game, Georgia and Texas. My number 1 game in the College Football Power 5 here in week number 12. Golly, where is the season gone? Makes me so sad. Just flies right by all the time. All right, we got to get to break. We'll come back. James Westling joins us next. Talk about the Big 12 football conference and basketball conference as well next in the Morning Blitz.
Fall is here, and so are big savings at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Get a 2026 GMC Sierra 1500 Elevation up to $7,000 off with eligible GMC loyalty. Check out the 26 GMC Arcadia 1.9% APR for well-qualified buyers. On the Chevy side, the 2026 Equinox is 0% APR, and the 26 Colorado Trail Boss gets $500 customer cash or 3.9% APR for well-qualified buyers. Harvest the savings this fall at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Online at hurlchev.com.
From drive-through banking to mobile deposit, we make it easy to get things done on your schedule. Banking should fit your life, not the other way around. This is Jessica Von Lintel at F&B Bank. Banking made simple.
In a small town, your banker should know more than just your account number. They should know your name. At F&B Bank, we believe in real conversations, friendly faces, and decisions made right here at home. I'm Paige Sneathen, Vice President at F&B Bank, and we're proud to serve your family like our own. Member FDIC.
It's time for a check of the markets with the Anderson Trade Group on the Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio Network.
This is Austin Rice, the Anderson Trade Group, and your morning market update. It is November 12th. December corn, 431.5. March 26 corn, 446. May 26 corn, 454 3/4. December KC wheat, 517 1/4. March 26 KC wheat, 533 1/4. May 26 KC wheat, 545 3/4. January soybeans, 1126 3/4. March 26 soybeans, 1137. May 26 soybeans, 1147 and a half. Dow Jones futures are currently up 116 points at 48,146. S&P 500 futures are currently up 24 points at 6,895. NASDAQ futures are currently up 161 points at 25,802. Gold is currently up $15 at 4,132. Crude is currently down 96 cents at 60.08. For your grain marketing needs or more information on our freedom pricing tools, you can reach the Kansas City office. Jared Law, Tyler Ghosh, Tom Saludo at 913-748-3000. In Colorado, John Hankey and John Stiles, 970-744-4484.
The Anderson Trade Group, proud market partners with Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio. Find out more at andersongrain.com. The risk of loss through trading futures and or options is substantial, and each investor and or trader must consider whether this is a suitable investment. Past performance, whether actual or indicated, is not indicative of future results. The Anderson Trade Group has no guarantee that the advice given will result in profitable trades.
Hey, Max, you look sharp in that purple tie. Ready to harness the world as a guide dog?
You bet, Daisy. And your purple service dog vest really pops against your shiny fur.
First day on the job for both of us. We've got this, right?
You bet. Dogs Inc. trained us well.
Ready to make a difference for our humans?
Born ready.
Discover how extraordinary guide and service dogs change lives at no cost to the recipients. Visit dogsinc.org.
At CHS, we know what it takes to feed and fuel the world, to integrate a global ag and energy supply chain, to advocate for farmers in their fields and around the world, to build communities, invest in rural America, and empower rural economies. It takes courage, conviction, commitment. It takes the nation's leading farmer-owned cooperative. It takes a co-op. It takes CHS.
Kansas Corn reminds you that E15 fuel is the right choice for every kind of driver. For the car enthusiast, E15 has higher octane. For the thrifty driver, E15 is priced lower than regular unleaded. For the nature lover, E15 provides cleaner air. For the shopper who buys local, E15 has more ethanol from our Kansas corn farms. Choose E15 for a higher octane, lower price, and cleaner American fuel. This message from the Kansas Corn Commission. Learn more at kscorn.com.
Sports talk that's fast, fresh, and always on point.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
This is the Morning Blitz.
Continuing on a Wednesday show here on the Morning Blitz. Once again, going to be a beautiful day again today. 67 degrees on our way to a high of 67. Right now, currently at 35. Messed that up. We'll talk some college basketball. What we witnessed last night on the hardwood was a really solid night of college basketball around the entire nation. That's for sure. So, even some late games last night. But we are joined now, or I should say, yesterday, I was able to catch up with James Wessling, our good friend from ESPN, as well as, of course, the Big 12 radio or Big 12 Today on TuneIn. And so, James, because he hosts his own show during our time of the show, can't join us. But James able to squeeze in some time with me and talk about Big 12 football and the Big 12 basketball season getting underway here earlier this year.
James, good morning. Thanks for taking some time with us, my friend. I tell you, we're in crossover season. You got to be a pretty busy guy right now.
Yeah, we are full throttle, all gas, no brakes at Big 12 Radio and Big 12 Studios, and doing the play-by-play on top of that. But I think the Big 12 is in a prime position when it comes to college football playoff, and then also the men's basketball season, and even the women's side too, is going to be really fun. So I encourage listeners to keep tabs on everything happening in the Big 12.
James, I want to go back to this previous weekend with the showing that Texas Tech put on against BYU down there in Lubbock. The type of season that Texas Tech is having this year is one that's going to more than likely put them in the college football playoff, barring just a humongous collapse here down the stretch. I know it's not probably a humongous surprise to see the Red Raiders where they are with the money they spent this offseason and have invested into the program, but I find this to be a very interesting case study, this Texas Tech Red Raider team this year in what is the new era of college sports.
And they're definitely that. They are definitely a case study because nobody has ever done it this way. And I think it's important to note that, yes, they did pay market value or even above market value for specific players. But collectively, their roster is not even a top 10 roster in terms of the amount of money for the roster that they've built. They don't have a top 10 financial roster. So Joey Maguire has far exceeded expectations and gone above and beyond in terms of getting this team to buy in to what he is selling. And that is, you could be a national championship contender. They built their roster based off of feedback from their general manager and NFL scouts. They wanted to build an NFL roster, and all 11 starters on defense will have a chance to play in the NFL. And probably 7 or 8 will be top 5 draft picks. That's how dominant they are on that side of the ball. And, it's so much more than what they've done financially. They have all the pieces that have just fit together beautifully on defense. And on offense, there are some concerns. Baron Morton's health is a major talking point. The offensive line has showed some vulnerability at times. And then do they have elite playmaking wide receivers? I would say no. But defensively, this is the best defense that we've seen at Texas Tech ever. Jacob Rodriguez is a legitimate Heisman contender. He's doing things that no player in college football has done in the last 2 decades. And they're for real. So they're very much in the driver's seat. Their only loss was a game that they played their backup redshirt freshman quarterback, and he wasn't quite ready for that moment. So all the analytics, all the metrics love them as a top 4 team, which means they would have a bye in the opening round of the college football playoff. And I believe that will be the case if they do win out and win the Big 12 championship game.
Taking a step back and looking at a broader picture of the Big 12, James, when you look back at what this season has been to this point and how you and the guys thought it may have looked when the season began, what are some things that stand out, whether it's good or bad?
Oh, man, I would say that, we always start with the bad first. This was supposed to be the year of the quarterback in the Big 12, and it has not been that. The best quarterbacks in this conference are playing for teams that are going to be fighting to make a high-level bowl game, and that's Josh Hoover at TCU. He's a top 5 quarterback on paper. He leads the country in passing yards per game. And then Sawyer Robertson at Baylor. Dave Veranda, his coach, Veranda's very much on the hot seat. I mean, they expect to be competing for Big 12 championships each and every year, and they've had 3 straight very disappointing seasons. So he's probably not going to be retained. And then you look at the teams that are winning. BYU's winning with the true freshman in Bear Bachmeier. Baron Morton has been in and out of the lineup all year and hasn't been, frankly, as good as he was last year because of everything he's dealing with health-wise at Texas Tech. And then Brendan Sorsby's been really good at Cincinnati from an efficiency metric, but he doesn't throw the ball 30, 40 times a game like we're used to in the Big 12. So I would say that's probably been a little bit disappointing, but I don't think it takes away from how good some of these teams are in the upper echelon of the Big 12. I think the best thing for the conference has been the fact that it's very top-heavy this year. There's a clear dividing line between those teams in the top 3 of the college football rankings in Texas Tech, BYU, and Utah, and the rest of the league. And that was magnified by what Utah did to Cincinnati, and then what BYU's done to everybody not named Texas Tech on their schedule. And Texas Tech leads the nation in scoring margin. Indiana's a close second. So the Big 12 has there's been separation within this conference, which is what the Big 12 had when Oklahoma and Texas were members, and it's what the league really needed this year after last year's kind of dark horse Cinderella run that we saw at the end of the year from Arizona State.
Now, you bring up a great point there, because, if there wasn't this separation, if we had kind of what we kind of thought maybe at the beginning of the year and last year where everyone was beating up on each other, it would really hurt the chances of them getting possible multiple teams in the college football playoff. Do you think they get more than 1 or 2 in the college football playoff? Or you think that's about max?
I think they definitely get more than 1. I think the Big 12 will get 2, barring a complete collapse from multiple teams. And I say that because BYU is the one team that, they have flirted with some losses. In 4 of their last 5 wins, they've had to come from behind in the second half. So they've trailed in 4 of their last 5 wins in the second half of games. So they're the ones that make me a little nervous. But I look at Utah, just their total domination of everybody outside of Texas Tech and BYU, and I think they win out. So then it comes down to BYU and Cincinnati playing next weekend, and the winner of that one's going to be in the driver's seat for making the Big 12 championship game. Texas Tech, I can tell you, those guys aren't losing again. You know, maybe they get upset in the Big 12 championship game, but the rest of their schedule is favorable. They've got their toughest games behind them, and they are an absolute machine. So I think Texas Tech is definitely in. My dark horse is Utah. If Utah wins out, and actually not playing in the Big 12 championship game could potentially help Utah because they would enter that selection Sunday, if you will, with just 2 losses. And the metrics and all the basically the kin pom of college football, they have Utah as a top 7 team. So on paper and what they do with success rate and the pressure they get on opposing quarterbacks, they're playing way above where they're actually ranked. So I think the Big 12 is in a really strong position to get multiple bids this year. I won't go as far as saying 3, but I think 2 for sure.
James Westling, our guest here on the Morning Blitz. How come we can't get any love for Houston and Willie Fritz? They could be 10-2 when the regular season wraps up.
Well, you don't get any love when you lose to West Virginia at home. And then you go on the road and you beat a 1-4 at the time Big 12 record UCF team by 3. So I really like Houston too. And I actually thought there was a path for Houston to play in Arlington, but that was before they laid an egg at home against West Virginia. Bottom line is we shouldn't take anything away from the tremendous job that Willie Fritz has done in year 2, and watch out for them next year. They have the number 2 rated player in the country who's committed to them. And he's already 100% committed. He signed on the dotted line back in August. He is going to be a Cougar. And Keyshawn Henderson, who's actually coached by former K-State quarterback Michael Bishop down in Houston. So he's staying home. He's going to play for the Cougars. Again, he's a 5-star prospect. That should also be attractive to some potential transfers. My point is, Willie Fritz is building a program at Houston, and this year is not a fluke. They're going to be in the mix for many years to come.
I know you're a K-State guy, and this year has definitely been a disappointment from the Wildcats, but with all the things that have happened here over the course of this year, I mean, what are your thoughts on this K-State 2025 football season?
Hard pass are my thoughts. This season is a season that I think K-State fans hope to forget. And a lot of it, I think, boils down to just so many unforeseen circumstances. I mean, who would have thought that your best offensive lineman has a medical issue right before the season and doesn't play a single snap? And then your star running back gets hurt, and then he's pouting on the sidelines, and his teammates take exception to it. And come November, he's in the transfer portal and plans to redshirt. And then you lose Austin Romaine for the rest of the season. And then Osunami, the defensive end, who's probably K-State's best edge rusher, out for the year. Just so many things, so much bad luck for K-State. Jace Brown missing time. I mean, they don't have the depth like a Texas Tech or even a BYU right now. So I think that this has been a lot of teachable moments and a lot of learnable things for this coaching staff that they can carry into next season. But their top priority has to be give Avery Johnson whatever he wants, give Jace Brown whatever they want, because those two guys have to be back, and then build through the portal and player development and try to build some depth that they've really lacked this year.
James Weston continues our guest here. We see him on ESPN and, of course, also on Big 12 Radio on TuneIn. When you talk about the basketball season, we're in crossover season. You sound like you're really excited about the upcoming basketball season. Just kind of give us your quick preview on what you think this Big 12 basketball season could be like and how special it could be.
Well, it's going to be exceptionally special because of the freshmen. You can start with that with Darren Peterson at Kansas, A.J. DeBonsa at BYU, and then Koa Pete at Arizona, who hung 30 on Florida in his Arizona debut. The league is stacked. I mean, you've got 3 potential top 5 NBA draft picks. Peterson and DeBonsa will probably go number 1 and number 2, and they are as good as advertised. And then the depth in this league. You know, I still think Kansas State can be a tournament team. I really like what Iowa State has done so far. They beat a solid Mississippi State team who is just in the tournament. They beat them by almost 20 the other night. Oklahoma State is my dark horse. That Oklahoma State team is – Oklahoma State basketball is very back. They have got a ton of buy-in from their fans, and Steve Lutz in year 2 has loaded up with talent and scoring, and they play fast, and they have some traits of those Nolan Richardson Arkansas teams, the 40 minutes of hell that they used to run back in the 90s. So the league is super deep, super talented. I think Houston, I didn't even mention them. They're my pick to win the national championship this year. If you look historically at the teams that win the title, usually they make deep runs the year prior and return a lot of experience, and that is Houston for this season. So I think the conference is maybe arguably the best it has ever been this season when you look at the depth and just how many teams I think could be Final Four caliber teams.
Certainly be a fascinating basketball season that lies ahead, that's for sure. He is James Westling, our good friend from ESPN, also Big 12 Radio. James, thank you so much for sparing some time away from your very busy schedule during crossover season, my friend. We'll have to do it again soon, a few weeks down the road. Thanks again for the time.
Absolutely. Call anytime. Great catching up, Ross, and a lot to be excited about in Big 12 country.
Once again, James Westling, ESPN and Big 12 today. Thanks again to him. We will take our break, and we'll be back with our final segment, looking at what happened last night in college basketball, both the junior college and Division I levels. That's next here on the Morning Blitz on a Wednesday.
It's game time.
What time is it? Game time!
You're listening to the Morning Blitz.
This is Caleb Morris with the Crop Insurance Department at Farm Credit of Western Kansas with some friendly reminders for the 2025 crop year. December 1st is the sales closing date for pasture, range, and forage insurance. December 15th is the acreage reporting deadline for 2025 winter wheat in Kansas. Remember, any possible loss should be reported within 72 hours of discovery. Contact Kelly or myself at 785-462-6714 for all your crop insurance needs. Work with agents who work for you. Farm Credit of Western Kansas is an equal opportunity provider.
20 years ago, we started with a simple mission to provide an unrivaled customer experience by bringing trusted technology and superior service to Kansans. This milestone belongs to you, our customers. Together, we've built something worth celebrating, and we can't wait to see what the next 20 years bring. Now, get the latest smartphones on us. Next Tech Wireless, celebrating 20 years of connecting Kansans.
Drips, clanks, chills, or swelters? Call the team that's been fixing it all since before your grandpa had a thermostat. McClure's Plumbing and Heating in downtown Goodland has been keeping things flowing and blowing for 95 years and counting. From pesky leaks to full-blown HVAC heroics, they're your hometown pros with nearly a century of know-how. Call McClure's Plumbing and Heating at 890-2208. That's 890-2208. And make your home comfy again, the old school way. Done right.
Hello, this is Nathan Lennon with Land of Legacy Real Estate. Our team is excited to announce the launch of our new app, which can be downloaded on the Google Play or App Store directly from your mobile device. With the dynamics in the real estate market, it is important to have a dedicated team who has the experience, ambition, and passion to help you achieve your goals. Whether you are considering selling your property or have questions, we invite you to give us a call or visit with a member of our team in person at 2402 Commerce Road, right here in Goodland, Kansas. Land of Legacy Real Estate, where people are our passion.
Breaking down the plays, the players, and the passion.
Who's got it better than us? Nobody!
This is the Morning Blitz.
All right, putting a bow on a show here on a Wednesday. Thanks again to James Westling for joining the program. A little bit later on. Last night in college basketball, we talked about a little bit off the tip. No pun intended there. Yeah, we talked about a little bit. Lots of basketball last night. That it was so much that Connor couldn't even get out of his seat. He was so glued to his college basketball last night. Last night, first and foremost, locally in the junior college ranks, a tough night for Colby Community College men and women. Went 0-2. Lady Trojans losing their first game of the young season, falling at home to Lamar, 67-58. Desiree Ulmer led CCC with 12 points. It was a game where they were up by 12 in the first half, but could not hold on and ended up losing for the first time this season. Trojan men struggled defensively against Lamar. 101-77, a loss for CCC. Owen Reese came off the bench to lead Colby with 19 points, but Colby allowed the Lopes to hit 16 threes in the loss. Did you happen to see Lamar had 3 guys with 20-plus points?
Oof, that's
27, 24, 24 for 3 different guys for Lamar.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It's not great. If you're letting 3 guys score 20 in a college game, you're probably going to lose with the 40 minutes you're playing.
I'm starting to wonder about Colby's defensive acumen, at least. Once again, it is extremely early, but initial returns, I'm starting to wonder about defensive acumen there for Colby for a little bit here.
It's tough. And one more note, there were, in the 2 games against the JV teams they played, there were definitely some moments where they struggled as well. So I think the concern is warranted.
Fort Hays Tech Northwest men came from behind in the second half to get a nice road win at Northeastern, the only win of the night for the regional team. 76-73, the final score. Khalil Kelly led 4 different Tigers in double figures with a game-high 23 points. Here was the stat of the night, though, in this game, and this is one reason why I don't mean to be mean, but this is why junior college basketball is hideous sometimes to watch. There were 75 free throws attempted in the game.
Oh.
75. Tech went 33 of 42, so a great percentage, and that's why, and Khalil Kelly, by the way, I think had 13 of his 23 points at the foul line. But 13 of 42, Tech went from the foul line. There were 75 free throws attempted in that game at Northeastern.
That's not great. A lot of hacking.
It was not good. Not good. Oh, man. And the Fort Hays Tech Northwest women 0-4 after a 73-36 loss at Northeastern. Tech shot just 16% from the floor in the loss. Rough. I mean, if you're, I think I'd have to look up what the numbers were, but it was like 11 of 60 something or something like that. Like, it was bad, really bad. But just 16% from the floor in the loss for the Tech ladies. Marta Rodriguez led the Lady Tigers with 12 points, only lady in double figures for Fort Hays Tech Northwest. But there you go, some junior college basketball last night. Also last night, Kansas with a win over Texas A&M Corpus Christi, 77-46. No Darren Peterson scratch there because of hammy. But I'll tell you what, does Cole Rosario look like a freshman to you? That dude is stacked for being a freshman.
The mustache he's got going on.
He shaved it. He got rid of that ugly thing. He got rid of it. Thank God. I think it was hideous.
Well, regardless, he definitely looks older than a freshman. I mean, you don't often see guys come in like that big into college, but hey, he's looking the part of a college hooper.
I'd say he's going to become one of my favorite players to watch this season. He's been a lot of fun. 16 points in replacement of Darren Peterson to lead KU. Had Flory Badunga get 12 points. Bryson Tiller, another guy to keep your eye on. God, he can do it all. He's a high flyer, and he can spin it from the outside. He's very impressive. I think he's like 6'7", 6'8". He's a taller guy.
Bigger guy.
Bryson Tiller. Him and Trey White each had 11. Kansas defensively pretty good, holding the Islanders to just 32% shooting. Now 22 straight non-conference home 22 straight non-conference home wins. Yeah, that's right. And then 161-6, the record Bill Self against non-conference teams at home.
That's incredible. Do you know any of those 6 teams?
I don't. I did not go diving into those numbers. I'd be fascinated to know what they are. Maybe I'll have to do that during this show and see if we can come up with that. But yeah, great showing from Kansas once again without Darren Peterson. But golly, Cole Rosario, I've been really impressed with him. They said he was going to be a really nice pickup, and he has proven to be really, really good. And then also last night, Nebraska with a 69-50 win over Maryland Eastern Shore. Nebraska did not shoot the ball well at all, but they got 37 combined points from Price Sanford and Sammy Hoiberg to lead the way for Nebraska's.
Sam
Hoiberg. God, one of my favorite players. He's awesome. Undersized guy who has to do all the dirty work. So great. There you go. That's your college basketball recap. All right, we got to get to the walk-off here.
And back lifts his ball deep to right. How about a walk-off Grady? Thomas to the 10. Denver's going on to New England. They win it on the first play of overtime. Mahomes swings it. It's there. Hardman. Jackpot. Kansas City.
Did you have any complaints about the new CFP rankings that came out last night? Ohio State 1, Indiana 2, Texas A&M, Alabama, and Georgia make up the top 5. Texas Tech is now 6. Ole Miss, Oregon, Notre Dame, Texas, and Oklahoma make the top 11. South Florida would be your team that clinches the group of 5 spot.
I don't know about South Florida right now. I mean, things might change if Tulane gets another win, I think, but I thought South Florida was kind of out of the discussion, or at least kind of getting closer to the margins. But other than that, I mean, I would still love them to make it because they're a lot of fun to watch. But other than that, just looking at the rankings, I mean, they're not too bad. I think most teams are in the spots they should be. I like that Texas Tech is as high as they are. I thought maybe you could have pushed them a little bit higher with how they handled BYU, but I think 6 is a totally fair ranking for them. And it's cool that BYU is still, well, I guess being number 12 would mean they're not in because the group of 5 team would take that spot instead. But they're still on the cusp, so I'm happy they're getting some love. Vandy's still kind of hanging out in the conversation. It's not bad. It's not bad.
Cleveland Stephen Vogt wins AL Manager of the Year. How happy are you for him to win it? Back-to-back. By the way, him and Pat Murphy, the Brewers, back-to-back Managers of the Year.
Can't believe I forgot to even discuss that or throw that in the show notes. I mean, that's incredible. He's, by all accounts, I mean, obviously, I think manager performance is one of the hardest things to quantify in sports, but from what I know, he has done an incredible job. There have been some questions about him and some lineup decisions, specifically with platoons, but other than that, that dude has gotten the most out of some teams that you would think might win 70 games.
That'll do it for us today. For Connor, I'm Ross. See you back here on a Thursday. Join us then. It's been The Blitz.